Welcome to the Department of Energy and Public Works e-learning package, which supports the commencement of the Building Regulation 2021. This session complements the advice provided in the building and plumbing industry news flashes. You will see the web address for this content on the screen. This session will provide an overview of the differences between aspects of work and stages of work. There are other topics online related to the building regulation, and the links to these are in the same location where you found the link to this one. Before I begin talking about the differences between aspects and stages of work, I want to provide a bit of background on the remake of the Building Regulation 2021. The Building Regulation 2006 expired on 31 August 2021 and has been remade through the Building Regulation 2021, which commenced on 1 September 2021. No policy changes were included in the remade regulation, but there were changes to section numbers and the forms were updated for ease of use. There have also been a couple of minor editorial changes to correct wording which was found during the consultation process. When the Building Regulation 2021 commenced, there was some confusion in relation to the difference between a stage and an aspect of work. Schedule 10 of the Building Regulation 2021 defines an aspect of building work as a component of a stage of the work, and Schedule 2 of the Building Act 1975 defines a stage of accessible building work as a stage of the work prescribed by regulation, at which the work must be inspected. Section 44 of the Building Regulation prescribes the mandatory stages of accessible building work that must be inspected. The prescribed stages are all stages at which the building development approval states the work must be inspected, and if the work is the construction of a single detached Class 1A building, the foundation, footings, slab, frame, and final. Each stage of building work is comprised of different aspects which are components of the work. The inspection of building work must include the relevant aspects for each stage. For a detached Class 1A and Class 10 building or structure, a building certifier must inspect the footings, slab, and final stages. I will now discuss some specific issues related to building certification. Under Part 8 of the Building Regulation 2021, Inspections of Accessible Building Work, you will find the provisions regarding inspections, accessible building work, who can sign specific certificates of inspection, and the process for issuing a non-compliance notice. A building certifier can appoint a second building certifier to undertake an inspection as a competent person for an aspect, and must appoint the person as a competent person prior to receiving help for an aspect. For a stage inspection, the second certifier does not need to be appointed as a competent person. The relevant building certifier must ensure the stage of the accessible building work is inspected by an inspecting person at a time agreed by the builder for the work. The inspecting person can be the relevant certifier or another building certifier or a competent person inspection. A competent person inspection is a person the relevant certifier has decided is a person competent to carry out the inspection under the regulation and can give a certificate of inspection for the work. Only the building certifier for the accessible building work or another building certifier may sign a certificate of inspection for the following stages. If the building is to have footings, the stage of the building work that is after excavation of foundation material, but before the placement of formwork and reinforcement for the footings and the pouring of the concrete for the footings. If the building is to have a slab, before the placement of formwork and reinforcement for the slab, but before the concrete for the slab is poured, and the final stage of the work. If a building is to have footings and a slab, then two inspections are required, or they could be done together if both stages are ready at the same time of inspection. For example, if the footings include pads for example, veranda posts, columns, etc. Building certifiers must ensure they are aware and comply with the requirements of the Code of Conduct and relevant guidelines when performing all building certification functions. I hope this short overview has provided some clarity regarding the difference between aspects and stages of work and who should be undertaking the inspections. If you have any questions or comments, please send them to buildingpolicy@epw.qld.gov.au. Your query will be registered and a response prepared. Thank you for your attention.